Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we are going to continue where we left off. Okay, so we had this area marked off up here towards the top, a little bit below this green rectangle, and price was around here, I think, maybe around here when we last did our video, and price came up to this area here and then turned around and left. And so, I mean, why did price turn around here? Well, if you look at this, you can see that price is sold off, we accumulated and we sold off, so we were distributing liquidity. So the sell side of the market, and this was being used to fill short orders by the retail side of the market, so the buy side, and this resulted in price going down. This could also be a result of profit taking. How price came up here, price was wriggling higher. As we saw earlier, this was a pretty decent price down here for Bitcoin, and I think a lot of people holding Bitcoin are also a little bit nervous as to what's going to happen, because cryptocurrency has been, all of them have been selling off very aggressively here these past few months. So they saw this as a really good place to get out of their positions, and due to the fact that this is now traded on the as a future, you can also trade against Bitcoin, and this is also going to have effect on the price of Bitcoin. So price came up here, we poked into this area, and then we went lower. Let's have a look exactly in here what happened, and then we'll have a look for a place to buy a little bit lower down. Let's go to there's a green 15-minute candle, and we're going to zoom, scroll back and have a look and see what price did. Okay, here we have it. So this is where price went to. So price came up, it returned back to here. This is the top of, this is the upper edge of the gap. So we had price gap down, and price simply closed the gap and then dumped. But this is, you can consider this just to be a candle that went from here down to here. And if you consider that for a second, you can also see that this is a pretty nice continuation pattern. How price moves sideways, went down, we move sideways, and then we leave, because this is essentially what's going on here in this big black space. But there is no prices being quoted here, so the market opened down here. Okay, so you can just connect those two candles and just have a bar that moved down very quickly. Price returned to that, and then we left. So this is a decent continuation pattern. Price poked into that ever so gently, and then this is where it retreated and moved down very quickly. And you'll see this a lot. Today I was in a Euro CAD trade, and price reached an area like this, then it poked up, and then we saw some rejection pretty quickly. You can see we have this wick here, price moves sideways, price went up, and then it was rejected very quickly, and then we started to paint some of these white candles. This is a sign that price is going to move away at some stage, because price is poking up into here. It's finding liquidity to do what? To move price lower. It pokes up, we have rejection. This is like the first sign that price will potentially begin to sell off. And these candles moving sideways, these white candles, this is price simply consuming liquidity. So price, we have a period open, we have a period close, we have layers in the market of liquidity. Here we have bearish liquidity here, so these are pools of liquidity. Here we have bullish liquidity, so the period opens here and closes here, price enters, then it starts seeking liquidity. If the thin liquidity is to the upside, it's going to move up. Once it pokes into this little pool of liquidity, some sellers will potentially enter the market. This selling pressure will increase the likelihood of price to move lower, and so this is going to move through the thin liquidity, which is now to the downside relative to the upside. So it'll continue to do this. It'll find this one here, it'll go up, and it'll continue to move up and down like this. And then, depending on if we have an imbalance in supply and demand, either we have more sellers than buyers, then price will either go up or down, depending on how this liquidity distribution affected. But this is what we're essentially seeing here. So price went up, you see it poked up into here, the high, then it left and it started to move sideways. We went up again here, we found a lot of sellers, and then that kind of brought price down. Then price continued to do this, and what happened? Well, we chose this route and moved low, as you can see. just here. So that's a very, very big move. And so now, as you can imagine, it looks like this is going to continue moving down, because when you see something like this, where price feeds into an area and we have such a big sell-off, a big powerful sell-off like that, well, it's very clear that the market is probably going to continue moving lower for a little while at least. And if we look here, you can see that we have some supply here. So we had this area in here. Price came back to it pretty close. It went up. We found this pool liquidity here. Price sold off. We found some more sellers, and then we cut through this. So this area up here is actually the one that is responsible for taking this one out. So we can just move this simply up here. And so let's have a look at that on a smaller time frame. So you go to the 5-minute chart and have a dig around, and we can see exactly what's going on. You can see this is what we saw. And if you go into the smaller time frame as we've done, excuse me, then you can actually see that, wow, this is not a very pretty area at all. Neither is this, but this one is. So you go like this. So this is the one now that's interesting to us. This is a very small pool liquidity. So I think we're certainly going to see some sellers enter the market once price comes back up to this level here, the 77.05-ish area. Good. So that would be an interesting area to sell. We also have a tiny little one just here, which we'll probably see some small reactions on. But let's see first of all what price is reacting on down here at the bottom. Let's mark off the low. And we're going to zoom back and have a look. So what are we reacting at? Well, we're reacting at these lows. You see price went poked. So this is the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a 5th time back. So we want to have a look in here and see what's in there. So we'll do that. We'll mark this area off like that. We don't know what it is until we go to the small time frame, which we'll do. Go to the 5-minute chart. Now we're going to move back in time and have a look. Here we have it. So this is very beautiful. This is essentially what we're seeing. So price is moved higher, moved above this high, we went up, then we started to move sideways, and then we popped up, we tested, and then we left. And you'll see that a lot. And that is, price goes up, we establish like a resistance, and then price will reject, and then it'll go like this, and you see how the lows will keep getting higher. And then price will all of a sudden pop up, and this upward sloping is telling us that we have demand here and here and here. So micro demand is holding price, so there's support for price, and as it pops up, price will often return back to this area here, because this is kind of the breakout, and this is ultimately where the liquidity is available to do what? To drive price higher. And so this is going to be a reference point into the future, which we want to be mindful of. And you have this pattern. This is the exact same thing as we see here. And this is pointing to the area of the buy zone, and this is where price returned to this last time. So if we go like this, you can see we tested it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and here we have the 5th time down here. So very interesting. If we look a little bit lower, we go back to the daily chart, there's a nice area of demand that is untested and fresh, and that's this one here that I've marked up. So as we zoom in a little bit and have a closer look, you can see that we have kind of a similar thing going on, where we have this was the all-time high for a period of time, a long time ago, back in 2017 in the summer. Price came down and price wriggled higher. We rallied up, we accumulated for 2 days, and then we cut through. So it's kind of similar to what we've seen earlier, where price moves up to an area, we reject, because we ultimately is doing this. It comes back, it wriggles higher, it sits on the area, accumulates, and then it pops up like so. So that's what we're seeing right here. So when price comes back down to the 49.16 area, we're very likely going to see some buyers enter the market at this area, supporting price, and then watching price move higher away from there. So we'll leave these on there, and we'll see what happens, and we'll come back to that hopefully by the next time we have the video. Price will have returned. Good. This is a bit of a long video. I will finish up now. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel to get updates, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.